Welcome to the Frank Hornstein Market Minute. I'm sure all of you have read in the newspapers and online about the NAR Commission lawsuit and the fallout from it. There's been a lot of articles in the papers, and I'm going to try to explain it to you as best I can. First off, let me explain to you, this is my opinion, and this is what I have seen and read. I have attended at least 5 webinars from different sources, the NAR, DAR, which is Delaware Association of Realtors, and Bright, which is our MLS service. And all 3 of them have educated me a little bit more. I'm going to try to explain this to you as best I can. Right now, the lawsuit is not finalized. It's before a judge who needs to make the final opinion on this. The explanation is that July 1st this is going to go into effect. That is just not going to happen. Yesterday I heard that it might be late summer or early fall before anything really happens. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and being myself involved in the business, I have questions that I don't even have answers to, including all my counterparts. Every article that I read states that the 6% commission is no more. Well, I hate to say this to you, but I don't remember a 6% commission. This is my 11th year, and I could count on one hand how many times I've received a 6% commission. Every media is saying the 6% commission is done. We've never forced anybody into a 6% commission. I know of at least one company locally that does all 6% commissions. I won't mention their names. You know who you are. Most agents don't charge that amount. Commission is and always been negotiable with the client and will continue to be. The idea that you no longer give the commission to the buyer side of the deal makes no sense at all. Agents are required to show homes regardless of the amount of commission, but let's get real. We don't get paid any salary, we get no income unless we sell a house. So if we have the choice of showing a house where there's no commission offered to us, or a house where there's 2 or 3% commission offered to us, which house are we going to show first? We're not allowed to do that, but let's be realistic. What is going to happen? People are going to skip over your house if you're offering no commission, and there's no getting around that. Now here's where it gets really complicated. If a seller refuses to compensate the buyer for commission, then the buyer themselves is going to be responsible for paying it. This is a whole new ballgame. So the buyer is going to be responsible for signing a buyer agency's agreement before they're shown a house, and in that it's going to say, if the seller does not provide compensation, then you as the buyer is going to be responsible for compensating your agent. And let me tell you right now, people are going to balk big time about this. It's just not happened. Not ever. And so now all of a sudden the game's changed, and everybody thinks this is wonderful. It isn't wonderful. So there's some ways around it maybe. You can write an offer where you say right in the offer, you know, that the seller agrees to pay compensation to the agent of X% as part of the deal. But it's just going to get really, really complicated. And my understanding is this lawsuit supposedly is supposed to make things easier for everybody. That is baloney. I feel strongly that all of us have always been transparent about commissions. Under the proposed settlement of lawsuit, commissions can no longer be published on the MLS. It's another thing that makes no sense. We have no idea where we're allowed to provide commission information to other agents. Right now, it is on the MLS for agents and the public to see. Moving forward, we have no clue how we're going to handle this. For some reason, the court has decided that we can't provide that information anymore. So if that's some idea of what transparency is, that sure leaves me clueless. so now what happens when we have sellers now that are going to come forward and decide they want to represent themselves? That's going to be a whole disaster. So you are going to come to me and say, I would like to see your listing at 123 Main Street, and I want to represent myself. Okay, I'll show you the house. I'd like to buy it. Okay, are you going to write your own offer up? Do you have access to the standard real estate forms for the state of Delaware? No. Are you going to hire an attorney to do this for you? Not sure. An attorney is going to charge you so much more money to do all of this legwork for you than you ever would have paid in commission. So that's another thing that doesn't make any sense. So the next thing is, moving forward, people calling up and say, I want to see 123 Main Street tomorrow. Okay, we've done this forever. I ask them questions, name, address, email address, see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Not anymore. Now, before we can take you to see a house, we have to get you to sign a buyer's agency agreement. And in that agreement, it says that, you know, we're going to represent you for X number of time. And again, if there's no commission provided by the seller, that you as the buyer is going to pick up that ball and pay us. Okay, can you imagine how many people are going to balk at that big time? We've never done anything like that before. Okay, other big problems. VA loans. A VA loan does not allow commission to be paid by the buyer. Nobody knows how that's going to be handled now. So right now, if there's not commission provided by the seller in a listing, a VA purchaser cannot buy that house. So that is going to throw a whole lot of people out of houses moving forward. We're waiting for the VA to come up with a workaround on that. So far there hasn't been any. As you can see, there's a whole lot of changes and there's a whole lot of questions that have not been answered. This whole idea of transparency doesn't seem to be working out so great so far. How many people will buy and sell and change their whole attitude on how we do things is to be seen. Stay tuned for some more information. How was that?
You did fine, but did anything cut out again?
Oh, for God's sake, Mark, what are you doing wrong?
Look, Deirdre, I'm going to stand this right up your fucking ass. We'll do a colonoscopy for you.
How far did I get?
You got pretty far in. I don't know why it's clicking off.
Give it to me, God help me.
You know?
Let me look at it tomorrow.